Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Martin Aguilar here, the founder and chief consultant of the Filipino Hospitality, and welcome once again for another session of our upskill learning sessions. Now, our topic for today is very relevant. In fact, we know for a fact that the COVID cases is still not relaxing in our country. There's a lot of cases still. I think about almost 2,000 on a daily basis, and we have news of a new strain, right? That's still spreading right now. So we cannot relax in terms of our procedures. Now, in our previous topics, we've been talking about sanitation, about hygiene, about cleanliness, right? And so we want sanitation and hygiene to another level. Now, the topic for this afternoon is going to be about sanitation hygiene kits, right? We've been seeing them around. And so are we going to be having them as part of the new normal? Are they here to stay or is it just because of the pandemic? All right. So with us actually will be Miss Shalini Saha of Smart Hospitality PH and Mr. Arjun Shroff of Shroff Travel, who will talk with us and discuss with us the importance of sanitation or hygiene kits, as some others call them, and maybe we can learn more about their company and what are their thoughts on these amenities, these new normal amenities. All right. So with us, as mentioned, is Shalini. Hi, Shalini.
Hi, Martin. Thank you so much for having us.
That's great. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, we just wanted to ask, maybe we can learn more about your company
Yeah,
before we proceed.
sure. Thanks, Martin. So, Smart Hospitality is basically a one stop shop for hospitality and accommodation establishments. We want to be able to provide everything from the latest innovations in technology for the industry, amenities, guest requirements, operational needs, basically, like anything that is cutting edge. We want to bring what's happening in the world to the Philippines from our country and to bring it to setting a standard as well to reach global tourism standards.
That's great. And you mentioned about one of you have different products and services, right? And one of them
Yes, that's
are
right.
hygiene kits.
That's
Is
right.
that correct?
Yeah.
So what's in a hygiene kit? Like for example, personally, of course, I've seen one, right? But a lot of people are still not aware of what these sanitation or hygiene kits are and what are they for?
Okay, so thanks for that question, Martin. So if you think about it, when you go to a hotel now, you're going to be expecting your personal care kit. You want your shave kit. You want your shampoo and conditioners on the side ready for you. So your hygiene kit is basically your new normal amenity. And I think it's here to stay, actually, I think it set a standard that was missing or maybe wasn't needed, but now it is. And it's really set the pace for how we're going to be moving forward in any kind of travel and tourism establishment. So a hygiene kit or a sanitation kit or, at some properties, and how I like to call it is a guest care kit, is basically your pretty much everyday essentials that we need to fight this pandemic. So it's your face mask, your gloves, you have your alcohol wipes or alcohol gel, really depends on the preference. And you have it in a beautiful ready set kit that is placed in the guest room and provided to guests every day. So just like your shampoo and conditioners are replaced every day, so will your hygiene kits. And it's basically become your new buddy. So we want to make it in eco-friendly packaging as well. So after they stay at your establishment, they can take it with them, go, and maybe use it for knickknacks as well. So let's make it a whole 360 thing.
Right. Well, would you happen to have any samples or maybe some pictures that you can show us?
Yeah, I do have a few pictures. Let me share my screen to you in a minute.
Okay. So it sounds very interesting. A lot of these amenities have been there, right? The basic needs amenities, and sometimes some of the guests would say that they do have them as well. But of course, it's very convenient if one has them in their
Yeah,
room, right?
definitely. So I want to show, sorry, can you see my screen by the way?
Yes, we can see it.
Awesome.
There
So
you
I
go.
want to show you a sample that we made for one of the very well-known establishments in Metro Manila, which is Savoy Hotel
Mhm.
Manila. So if you can see here, this is your sanitation kit basically laid out. So it's as cute as a 4 inch by 4 inch square package. This is as the personal preference of the establishment. So we have your face mask individually packed. You have your gloves, and they wanted alcohol wipes instead of alcohol like liquid sanitizer. And so yeah, so this is basically your pretty much everyday kit that you can take with you. It's placed in your hotel rooms and provided to guests every day. Yeah.
That's great. And you mentioned that, of course, this is customizable as well, right?
Yes, so we can make it in any way and type you want. Of course, we can keep adding things to it as well. We've had some requests, especially from spas and wellness centers, to put in actual PPEs. Some even wanted us to put in like a note card. They wanted to even change the packaging. So we made it like sort of like flap type for them, box type. We're pretty open. Basically, we're very creative. We actually welcome your creative ideas because we'd love to see what we can come up with together with establishments as well.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, well, Shalini, maybe we can also have the perspective of an operator, right? So we
Awesome.
have with
Yes.
us Uncle Arjun Shroff, or I fondly call him Ninong, right? So maybe we can hear more about his insight on these hygiene kits. Mr. Arjun Shroff, of course, we no longer need to introduce you because you've been in the industry for the longest time, and a lot of our tourism stakeholders, professionals know you already. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Martin, for inviting me here on your lovely show.
Our pleasure. And of course, we want to get your insights on these hygiene kits. Now, as a one of the most established tour operators here in the country, and of course, you're recommending tourists, right? Guests from different parts of the world. Now, what
Yes.
are your insights about these sanitation or hygiene kits?
What was before when we traveled is extremely different now during the times when we travel now. What we used to do and what we are doing now as part of the new normal and new protocol is that we have to take care of ourselves on a more conscious level. Before we just take it for granted. But now, because of the pandemic, I think everybody has become more conscious about hygiene and cleanliness. Before, we did not mind it. Today, it has become, you cannot call it a fad. It is a part of our life that when we go or travel from the time we leave our home to in the car till the place where we are going, we reach and come back. We are doing a lot of things to keep ourselves safe from an unknown, unseen enemy, which is little difficult to fathom as we go along on a day-to-day basis. So as we travel, these little facilities which are very important for keeping us safe are now evolving slowly in every venue and place where we go, whether it is restaurant, whether it is a bank, whether it is a place where you send your money from Padala, or whether you're going to a small restaurant. All these places are now very conscious on the hygiene part. Of course, masks are very important. And of course, rubbing alcohol has become the biggest selling item today, more than the real alcohol that people drink. More gallons have been washed down our hands than the real alcohol has gone in our body. That is the funny part of this alcohol. It is important that the places where people go in hotels, resorts, or other amenities where people stay, it is important that the owners of these establishments are and should be very conscious on making the guests feel that he's arriving at a very safe zone, safe area where he is taken care of in a hygienic and clean manner. As you have seen, even they don't allow big meetings in places, but now slowly we are opening up. And this is giving the impetus of giving these, when people stay in the hotels, these health kits are given complimentary to the clients every day. I have traveled to the Visayas and I have traveled to Clark, Subic, and Pampanga. And in all the hotels, whether it is 4-star or 3-star, they are now making it compulsory that they give a hygiene kit upon arrival in the room of the client. I have also seen that they have at the entrance these little machines where you have to sort of warm water wash they give you before you go into the facility or the hotel. Also, they do your temperature check every moment in and out. It may be irritating to us to be shotgun with that temperature check every now and then, but please remember this guarantees your safety. So we should not feel bad or irritated when every time we are stopped at every venue or place where we go to check the temperature. This is the only assurance you have of keeping away from the hospital, which means staying alive, being healthy, and ready to travel as we go on in the near future. So we are very happy that the health and hygiene kits are now being given compliments in the hotel. Though we carry our own, but it is an assurance that the hotel wants us to be safe. Thank you, Martin.
Of course. All right. Thank you very much for that insight. But maybe some of our viewers, because of course, the demographics, for example, the members, the community in the Filipino hospitality and even in Filipino hoteliers worldwide include also small properties like inns,
Oh,
pensions, right? Of course, we have different, we're not only just talking with 5-star, 4-star, or 3-star, but even the
no.
smaller properties, right?
From 2-star upwards, everybody has to have that. I don't know about private resorts if they are doing the same, but I'm sure that they are also doing the regular cleanliness and what you call spraying of their unit cleaner every day in the smaller resorts too. But it is a must. It is a must so that their place will continue being patronized by people and they are known as clean places rather than calling it a COVID facility. You call it a clean place where you can go for your staycation, holiday, or a short vacation.
That's right. Well, exactly. I appreciate your insights, right? We know that it's very important and it should be part of the new normal. Now, Shalini, maybe some of the smaller properties are quite apprehensive because of the cost factor. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay,
I
so in
think
terms of
Shalini can throw a light on that.
okay. Thanks, Uncle. So, in terms of like the smaller establishments, of course, when we're looking at how many kits you have to make on a daily basis, when you look at it on a per day, you could say, "Oh, I just need 50 today." But when you count 50 for times 30, that's 30 days a month for that many people. It is time consuming on your employees. It's also another extra step of them handling it and putting it into certain packs and everything. And when you take a hygiene kit that's already ready made, it sort of gives you like basically a worry free sort of package. All you have to do is get your employees to focus on what they do best, which is creating experiences for the guests. And they have this ready package thing that they can already place in the rooms. And as Uncle Arjun mentioned very recently, that as meetings and MICE events are slowly opening up, these are also becoming amenities for conferences and events. So aside from pens and papers, now you're also given guest amenity kits. And it's very similar to that concept as well, of how some hotels were quarantine facilities and they're slowly trying to open up to guests again, and they have to go through another sort of accreditation by the Department of Tourism. So when you have these things ready, and actually the Department of Tourism has recommended or encouraged, maybe better, to have guest sanitation kits in every room. So when you have these ready, it just sort of makes everything much easier. I was just reading up yesterday that I think they're going to be opening up a travel pass stamp, which is developed by the World Travel Council. And there's going to be a whole set of requirements as well for that. So the earlier we prepare, the earlier it's better that we can sort of adapt to the situation when it comes to it. And, we're really promoting local tourism. We're promoting checking out our own country, looking at everything that's available for us to see. We have 7,107 islands. So there's so much to see, just in the country. And it would be amazing to see how we can really bring up every establishment, not just the 4 and 5 stars, but even the smaller ones as well, to really be prepared and be ready and welcoming guests, even in the midst of this pandemic.
That's good. You know what? I believe some of the smaller properties are considering do it yourself, right? What they do is they get, like, for example, a face mask, a sanitation something, all these small sanitizers, right? And
Mhm.
they do it themselves.
Yeah.
What's the challenge, or what's the concern when you do it yourself?
So, of course, one of the things that I would say is there's extra hands involved. And in the process of you taking one mask from a box and then putting it into another packet and then putting it into that sort of kit of your own, there's several hands involved in different steps. And the whole point of being sort of in a way safer cleanliness in terms is you want to minimize that. So the lesser kind of like physical or hand touch there is, the better. And of course, for smaller things, they would want to prefer that. But the best thing about this is we're actually trying to package this in such a way that it would be efficient for every type of establishment. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that only 4 or 5 star hotels can afford. Because, I mean, if you're buying it in the box, you're buying it individually. We're sort of just making it easier for all types of establishments.
Okay, well, what about your preparation for the products that you're offering right now,
Mhm.
your guest care kits, right? How assured can a potential customer be with the sanitation and hygiene involved in the preparation of these kits?
So aside from, of course, the facility being completely UV disinfected and sanitized, and of course, all the staff are wearing the appropriate PPEs and coveralls, we also make sure that all the equipment as well and all the materials go through rigorous testing. It's also FDA approved. So that's sort of one thing that they have less to worry about. And it's just packaged together, brought here to your property with your custom branding, of course, and ready for use, basically, for you and for your guests.
That's great. That's good to know. Well, let me ask Uncle Arjun this time. We're hearing the news that the vaccines are coming. Now, what are your thoughts on these hygiene kits? Are they here to stay, or are they gonna be gone after the vaccines are basically facilitated?
I think even after you're vaccinated, the human nature has become already adjusted to hygiene and cleanliness. It will become a very normal part of the process of carrying the rubbing alcohol, small tube, or the face mask with us forever. Because even before the pandemic, if you had ever observed, people from Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan, and certain other ASEAN countries, they were already wearing masks normally, even when there was no pandemic, which means they were sort of consciously aware of the bacteria or anything without any conscious motivation of the pandemic. Now that it has become compulsory, I think everybody has already been drawn into it. They will become a part of the life, and everybody will definitely carry a face mask. About the shield, only in the Philippines this is compulsory. Shield is not compulsory outside this country. That's what I have heard. Since we have not traveled, I cannot confirm the fact. But also, when you are out in the public place, it is best to have the dual safety on you. And also, though people will have the inoculation, we don't know how long will it take the whole process. Some people may be willing to take, some people may not be willing to take. So everybody will have to make an individual choice, and especially those who are with pre established illnesses, they will have to be more careful because they do not know what is the reaction to the vaccine. So these are certain concerns which are in the minds of the people all over the world, not only us. Hopefully, the people who are behind the discovery and solutions finding will be able to track and give the right answers to people, so everybody can safety guarded level. Let's hope.
That's great. All right. Well, uh, it looks like it's really here to stay, right? We all agree that it's
Yes,
very important, right? Like for
yes,
example, for me, if I stay in a hotel or a resort, it's really going to give me, some sort of peace of mind, because other than,
correct.
the usual amenities, right? We have these handy, right? And these things is something that you can also place in your bags, right? So maybe,
Yes,
given the need, right? You know, all access and easy access, if I must add, to these amenities, right? The new
yes,
normal amenities, right?
yes,
Should be part of the new normal.
correct. Yes,
Definitely, yes.
I agree with you there.
Well, Shalini, other than the hygiene kits, is Smart Hospitality offering other products as well?
Yeah, thanks for that, Martin. So we're actually bringing in a lot of UV disinfection sort of devices and for rooms, for large scale publication, basically anything that accommodation establishments would need in order for them to be able to say that, yes, we are indeed clean and safe and ready to welcome guests. Aside from that, we're also bringing in a lot of softwares, especially starting with contactless check-in and check-out for hotels, because that's something that we're really moving towards. Although I am going to miss going to the front office and saying hello to the girl in charge, but I think this is a great way to sort of still be able to talk to your guests, provide them the same level of experience and the welcome that they would normally get when they see you. So basically, we want to be able to bring these and provide these to a lot of the establishments in the country to really move forward and see how travel and tourism is going to be in this new era, basically.
You mentioned about UV light, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are some saying that it might be dangerous. If especially if you're not really trained on how to use it. What kind of UV light do you provide?
Thank you for that, Martin. That's actually a really good question because so the kind of specific UV that's used for disinfecting is especially UVC disinfection devices, and it's a specific type of UV light which has the peak capacity to actually destroy and deactivate bacteria and dirt particles, basically. And the reason why we use UVC is, well, it also it helps you in basically cleaning large spaces, of course, because there's always like certain corners that you can't always reach with alcohol. And when we're using UVC as well, the most important thing is that humans, and especially animals as well, they should not be around the area. So whenever we actually even provide these to clients who specifically ask for them, the first thing we do is really provide them sort of like an info sheet on how to use it. We even go and give them sort of like a demo, especially for Metro Manila clients. For nationwide, we provide them video demonstrations, because just very recently, I think I saw an article about a mall in Baguio. I think they were trying to demo a UV device in the mall. And I think that was where it went wrong, because you're not supposed to use it in front of people, and I think some of them had some irritation in their eyes. So one is, of course, it enables our housekeeping and all the staff in the hotel to make cleaning more efficient. You can have one room disinfected while the other one's getting ready by the staff already. And it really just provides that extra level of safety. We want to make sure that when we are bringing guests into our establishments, that it is clean, it's safe, and it's worry-free, because just like Uncle Arjun said, right now, the priority for guests when they go to establishments aren't the facilities, but it's more of what's your level of cleanliness? How clean are you? How safe are you? And we want to make sure that all our establishments are confident to say that, yes, we are, and we're welcome to welcome you into the establishment.
Awesome, awesome. So it's good that your services and the products you're offering is quite holistic, right? So
Yeah.
it's end to end. It's never really just about sanitation and hygiene, but it's the whole customer experience, right?
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I always wanted to make sure that when we do provide anything, it has to sort of be not just one point, it has to answer the entire paragraph for you. And that's what we want to bring with Smart Hospitality. So from the time the guest checks in to when they check out, we want to be able to be there with our establishments and be their partners in providing them anything and everything they possibly would need.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Shalini. And if ever they want to inquire, contact you, where can they reach you?
Of course, they can reach me through you, definitely. And of course, they can reach me at my email as well. I'd be happy to share my contact details after this call. So that would be easy for them as well.
All right. Thank you very much. If ever you guys have inquiries, we do have the details there down below. Our email is provided there. So we're very much excited to partner up with Smart Hospitality. And of course, Mr. Shroff and Shroff Travel, because of course we know that it's all about collaboration. We cannot do this alone. The fight against COVID and of course the promotion of our tourism here in the Philippines will not only depend on our tour operators, our travel agencies, our providers, our suppliers, even us as trainers and consultants, right? It's all about collaboration. And I think at the end of the day, it's really about working together. And as Uncle Arjun mentioned earlier, it's a fight against something that you cannot see, and we all have to do it together. Do you guys agree?
Definitely, yes. That was very well said.
All right. Any last words, Mr. Arjun, before we end? Any recommendation to our tourism partners moving forward?
Well, most important is for you to make sure that your customer experience.
Oh
Oh,
no.
we lost them there. What about maybe we can start with you, Shalini? Maybe any last words, parting words for our viewers?
Yeah, so I'll touch a little bit of what Uncle Arjun was saying as well. We have to really start with building up our own tourism. And the best way to do that, of course, is to help our travel and accommodation establishments be prepared and be ready with what may come. So we want to be able to provide you with any, especially all the tools that you may need to welcome your guests again. And we'd be happy to work with you and, of course, be creative in how we can come up with new solutions, because we'd love to see guests traveling all over the country again. I myself am waiting to travel. So I think that's exactly the sentiments of everyone around us as well. So it's a fight that we must do it together, and it's something that we're ready to do as well.
That's right. And I agree with you. We're all itching to travel once again, right? So
Yes,
we might as
definitely.
well do it better and do it safer next time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, we have Uncle Arjun with us now. So Arjun, we lost you there. You were
Yes, I'm back.
you were
The
saying
beautiful.
any parting words, any recommendations for our tourism partners and even our tourists as well.
We will come back with a bang. That is for sure. We just need to be little more patient for this silly little thing called Charlie 19 to end its world tour sooner than ever. We are all waiting for it to crash land somewhere in the ocean so we can all start traveling again. But fear not. If you are taking care of yourself every day and you're taking care of your immunity boosting every day and you're doing your daily walk, I think you will stay strong. Only one little item I heard today, that if you are able to walk 70 feet in 6 minutes, you are doing a good, healthy job on yourself if you're a senior. Of course, for the juniors, they don't need to worry about their health unless they have pre-existing ailments, which means they have to work on boosting their immunity. That is your only fantastic fight against it. Do not get into situations where you will be vulnerable or where you might be exposed. Stay safe, be home, do all the necessary practical protocols for keeping safe yourself and your family, so that we may work again soon. God bless us all.
All right, very well said. Thank you very much for the tips. Of course, Shalini, Arjun, thank you very much for joining us. I hope that in our next related topics, we can have you once again.
Most welcome.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having us, Martin.
Yes, Martin. Thank you. Bye, Shalini. Bye, Martin. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Goodbye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you very much. So there you have it. We have Shalini of Smart Hospitality PH and of course Arjun Shroff of Shroff Travel. And quite an insightful topic, right? So we talked about sanitation hygiene kits that ought to be part of the new normal. So if you are a hotel, a resort that still does not offer these amenities for your guests, you have to think twice, right? These are essential, these are needed, and as mentioned by Mr. Shroff earlier, this is something that we really need, and he believes that our tourists actually really need these, right? Because of course it's all about prevention. We can pretty much be safe, right, as much as possible, but having these amenities will add on to that safety so that your guests can have an enjoyable and memorable experience. All right. So thank you very much once again for joining us for another session of our Upskill Learning series. And I hope that you can join us once again in our next session. All right. Until then, this is Martin Aguilar signing off.